Everyone wants to be stronger, not just physically, but in every part of life. But between confusing workout advice, complicated equipment, and trying to figure out nutrition, where does anyone even start? Well, to get stronger mentally and physically, go to Anytime Fitness. You'll get a personalized training, nutrition, and recovery plan, all customized to your body, your strength level, and your goals. You'll get expert coaching to optimize your results, anytime, anywhere, in the gym and on the Anytime Fitness app. And you'll get anytime access to 5,500 gyms worldwide, all with the right equipment to level up your strength gains and your life. So get started at AnytimeFitness.com. That's AnytimeFitness.com.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May, RE/MAX Partners, buying or selling a home in Louisiana or Mississippi. Daryl May from RE/MAX Partners needs to be your first call. We always kick off our second hour on Tuesdays with Colin Jeter, former LSU tight end, now with the LSU Alumni Association. He's with us in studio now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. The Saints got a win this weekend.
That is correct. Would you like to talk about that?
Oh, man, I'd love to.
It was good defense. LSU played good defense, too, and Saints played good defense, but the Saints scored 17 points, and LSU didn't score a touchdown.
That is true. That was probably the difference.
Let's talk about LSU in Tuscaloosa. Let's start with the good. I mean, the defense did its job, held them to 20, got a couple of turnovers. I mean, couldn't have asked for much more defensively.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense the past couple of weeks has struggled points-wise, but, we finally, we got to come in, made some plays, made them make mistakes. I think defense got on back on track this week.
How much of it is the running quarterback? That's the narrative with everybody. Like, that's what LSU can't handle. Simpson doesn't run a lot, so that's why they did a good job there. Like, do you buy that that's the biggest issue?
Hunt, we've talked about this week to week. I do think that is a big X factor. When you have a dynamic quarterback that basically changes the defense from a one-man advantage going 11 versus 10 to a full 11 versus 11, it can make a big difference. So,
we watched this is a long time ago, but we watched John Chavis against Johnny Manziel essentially take Sam Montgomery, Kiki Mingo, like really good pass rushers, Benny Logan, Michael Brockers, say, hey guys, just stand there. Like, don't rush Johnny Manziel, just stand there. Like, we'll cover. We got Daryl Simon back there, and we got Eric Reed back there, and we got Jalen Mills back there. Like, just they'll handle it. Just don't let him run. And we watched him do that for 2 years. Is that a reasonable strategy against Taylor Green this week to be like, hey, just don't go get him. Let the guys cover. They cover well. Woodland covers well. Delane covers well. Pickett covers well. Let those guys just run, and we'll deal with when Taylor Green decides to run.
I think so. I think you also named a lot of big-time former players. But, yes, I think with a quarterback like Taylor Green, it's a classic let's contain him. You keep the rush upfield, keep him in the pocket. You really don't want to crash down and let him create a lane on the outside. So, yes, I would say whether it's a spy or just using contain lanes on the rush to keep him within the pocket, that's going to be your recipe for success.
Because, the spy's not working. Like, Perk, it just kind of sometimes his eyes are in a bad spot. Sometimes it's just in – it's interesting because in his first 2 years, he was the spy. Against Arkansas, they had a track guy back there playing quarterback, and Perkins took that game over. He spied Bryce Young and dominated him, but it just hasn't translated to this year.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is with him because, like you said, his freshman year, he almost single-handedly beat Arkansas.
Yeah.
Between the fumble recoveries, sacks, everything else. I don't know if it's the position change, if he's moving more in the backfield and it's creating more space in between as opposed to just rushing the passer. But it definitely has seemed to be a difference in play.
We'll see. LSU defense got their hands full in this game with an Arkansas offense that's as potent as any in the Southeastern Conference at this point. Flip side of the ball, Arkansas's defense really not good, which is good because LSU's offense has really not been very good. What did you see in Tuscaloosa?
I thought, and you hate to see it, but I did think Van Buren came in and gave it at least a little bit of a spark. I think we made some mistakes on the back end, whether that's through penalties. I've never seen a quarterback slide get reviewed that instantaneously, but that it is what it is when you play in Tuscaloosa. But I think he came in and kind of added some dynamic aspect to our offense. Again, we didn't make the plays it took to win. I don't know. I saw Frank plans on playing both. I kind of like the idea of mixing it up and getting two guys in there and kind of just bringing a different edge. But it's going to take that. Look, our line, they've struggled all year. Obviously, you hope they improve every week, but it seems to be a recurring issue. I'm hoping they can pick up and play well enough to score some points against Arkansas, because that's what it's going to take. They can score points.
Right. My buddy texts me, and they're like, hey, like, why don't we throw it down the field? Why does everything feel like a screen? And I was like, well, I agree. Like, I would like the ball to get down the field, but I don't know that the coaching staff has confidence they can sit back there and protect long enough for a receiver to run an 18-yard over route. Like, I don't know if they think they can do that or not.
I agree. And I think sometimes you scheme those plays up and you have seam balls or deep digs or things like that where the play is open, but you got to keep in mind, I mean, when you've got guys rushing constantly and you kind of got a lot of pressure in the backfield, your feet start to get hot, and maybe your progressions get a little faster than they should be, and you're not really having time for plays to develop. So it's more than just getting guys open and protecting. It's the aspect of, sometimes the quarterback just mentally, that clock starts rolling, and then the whole time it can get off offensively.
It can, certainly is for LSU in this game. Where do you think the mental I ask you this most weeks, but like every week's different. You have a situation where, okay, you've lost a game. Okay, now your coach has been fired. Okay, now you've got a fourth loss on the season. Okay, now you got a morning kickoff at 11:45 against a winless SEC Arkansas team. Like your quarterback got benched last week. Like, where do you think they are?
You got to play for the guys in the room. I mean, At this point, like you said, most of what, when you started the season, what you were playing for has gone out the window. I mean, the playoffs, I would imagine, out of the picture unless something really crazy happened. Things just haven't really gone the way we'd expected to this year. But you got to rally with the guys in the locker room. Look, at the end of the day, those are the guys you go to battle with every day, the guys you meet with, work out with, practice with, everything else, the guys you've been there for 2, 3, 4 years with. Rally with each other. Finish the season strong. Do what it takes to win games on the back end. Maybe get opportunity at the next level if you're a junior or senior looking to move on. And if you're a young guy, you're looking to create and build momentum for the next season. So you really have to play for the guys in the building, play for Coach Wilson. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of turnover after the season, I'd imagine. I don't really know what to expect. But I think for now, look, it's you against the world. Lean on each other, lean on your brothers, and let's finish strong.
That sounds good, and I agree. Do you think they'll buy into that?
I hope so.
It's impossible to know. Like, it's an impossible question. But at this point, that has to be worth asking, because it's just it's not a situation you would have thought to find yourself in. You don't have to ask those questions right now in Tuscaloosa or College Station or Athens or Oxford or any of those places. But some other ones, Gainesville, Baton Rouge, Auburn, like you want to expand outside the conference, Penn State, Florida State. Like, it's just, that's the nature of this sport, that your goals can come right off the table pretty quickly if you're at one of those premier programs, and that's where LSU is. And I just don't they said all the right things last week, and I'm curious to get in tonight for player interviews and see what they have to say. They'll probably say the right things. It's what they're trained to do. But, like, maybe your actions speak louder than your words. And to be clear, I thought they played hard last weekend.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, look, they got to make a decision. You can either tuck your tail or you can dig your feet in and you can fight. And we're going to find out what this LSU team's all about in these last 3 weeks of the season. We can finish strong, send the guys out the right way, get prepared for the next season. Or we can tuck our tail, pack up our bags, and head home. So I don't think this Tiger DNA is about that. I think they're going to finish strong. And I just hope to see them perform the way that they're capable of.
You think they care about the golden boot?
The golden boot, it is what it is. I think it's more about winning the game. The trophy, whatever. We'll move on. I'd rather just get the butt whipping during the game.
Do you know how much the trophy weighs?
I know it's heavy.
I looked it up today.
I know it's heavy. I know there's other trophies that seem to be more important. But,
yes.
If the team up north wants to worry about a season trophy, they're more than happy to.
Guess how much it weighs?
Let's say 600 pounds.
It's not 600.
That'd
be really tough to. I mean, look, the football players are strong. They might be able. It's 200 pounds.
Oh yeah.
Of
there
gold.
you
go. So like that wasn't a big emphasis for y'all to run over and grab the boot.
It was. Trust me, it's always cool, but it's more about just running on their sideline. You're getting up in their face. You're grabbing what's yours. The trophy itself, whatever.
Did you sense that Arkansas wanted this one worse than LSU? That's the sense I get from the fan base, which kind of annoys me, but it's what it feels like.
I feel like, and look, we take every game, we got a time, but I feel like we have higher aspirations down here than Arkansas does.
I said that earlier in the show. Like that's the feeling LSU fans have toward Arkansas, and I feel like, because I remember writing about this when I was covering LSU in like 2011, 12, 13, 14, because there was a span there starting in like 06, where LSU and Arkansas split 5-5 from 6 to 17, 6 to 15. And now LSU's won 8 of 9, so it's like, okay. But like there was a time there it was like, quit saying you're too cool to play against Arkansas. You're losing half the time to Arkansas. But now LSU's not. So I guess I don't have quite a leg to stand on to complain to everybody.
I agree. And look, the boot itself, are we not just the boot here in Louisiana? Kind of feels like Arkansas is the shin or maybe the knee high.
If I had any sort of ability to recall or name women's shoes, what's a shorter version of a boot?
I have no idea.
I don't either. But there's got to be something, and it's got to, and that would be like what if you get like the full knee high boot when you throw Arkansas to the top of it.
That's right.
But it's. I mean, we know what the deal is. Like Arkansas came into the league in '92, and they're like, okay, we got to find rivals for these people. Okay, well LSU. Well, look, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, you got each other. Well, Auburn, Alabama, you got each other, and we all know Florida's playing Florida State, and Georgia's playing Georgia Tech, and Tennessee's playing Vanderbilt, and you start pairing everybody off, and then you look up, and Tennessee's playing Kentucky, and you're like, oh, LSU and Arkansas, y'all are in. Go get them. And like South Carolina's got Clemson, so you got that game at the end of the season, and so the stakes are always pretty high, and so you created some great games and big memories, but it was pretty manufactured because all of Arkansas's rivals were in Texas.
Agreed. And we talked about at the beginning of the season, I think our big rival is Florida. But that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I mean, and look, Florida would say, well, you're like fifth on our list. Because they got Florida State, you got Georgia, you got Tennessee, you got Miami. That's just where LSU sits. It's just because it was Tulane forever and ever, and then it wasn't, and the 60s happened, and they were gone. But LSU's got a bunch of people that care about, because I was talking to a Bama fan last week, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I think for us, true hatred for Auburn, true hatred for Tennessee, more of respect for LSU, that's going to be a big game. And that's kind of where you are in that hierarchy.
Agreed. I feel we felt the same way about Bama. Obviously a big game for us, but it was more of a respect thing as opposed to Florida, Ole Miss. Those are the kind of teams we hate.
What's going on with the Alumni Association?
Man, all's good. I got my alumni quarter zip on today. Weather dipped down, but man, we've got a great event next week. Next Thursday night, it's our business networking event. We're doing it on a quarterly basis. Look, if you're in the business world and you want to connect with other Tigers in the area, or really across the country, it's a great opportunity to get in, meet some people, build some connections. But yeah, we're going to do that Thursday night. It's going to be actually at a model home for DSLD. They're nice. One of our gold members, one of our top members, and we're allowing them to kind of host an event. Of course, we pay for it, but we'd love to show off their operations and their facilities and everything else, so we're hosting one over there. Should be a good time.
Awesome. Thursday night, DSLD. Next week for the Alumni Association. We'll talk about it further when you come in next week. Do the Tigers get it done against Arkansas on Saturday?
Yes, they get it done, Hunt. We always root for the Tigers.
That's correct. I'm going to root for the Tigers. I hope they get it done. Pick to come on Friday. We'll see. He's Colin Jeter, former Tiger tight end with the LSU Alumni Association, with us on Tuesdays. Thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll come back. Talk some more LSU Arkansas next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge. GenesisofBatonRouge.com is the website. Every car that's on the lot is online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com. Looking to get into a rental? They got you covered at Genesis of Baton Rouge. They can make sure that when you travel for Thanksgiving, you travel for Christmas, you're not putting those miles on your vehicle. Plus, you're getting to see what Genesis has to offer. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. That's the model at Genesis. Go by and see them. They're Airline at Pico. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, you're probably on Airline anyway. Just make that stop on by. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you in. I promise you will not be disappointed. One, with that customer service, and two, certainly with the line of vehicles. If you want to get into a rental for the holiday season, you can do it over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. Find them Airline at Pico or online at GenesisofBatonRouge.com.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday shows brought to you by Daryl May of Remax Partners, buying or selling a home in Baton Rouge. Check out my guy Daryl May at Remax Partners. Been a great partner of ours here over the course of the last year. You can reach him at darylmayproperties.com or reach out to Daryl. I'll give you his number every single week. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, you want someone that's got more than 20 years experience building homes and a lifetime of experience here in the Baton Rouge area, Daryl May's got the entire package. You can find him at 225-268-6915. Again, 225-268-6915. Daryl May of RE/MAX Partners brings you our Tuesday shows. All right, yesterday I gave you kind of my thoughts on the quarterback situation. I told you, and I said this on the post-game show right after the game, like, I think Michael Van Buren needs to play moving forward. I think Garrett Nussmeier will play some, but I feel like there needs to be a shakeup in how the offense functions because this is broken. You're not functioning on offense. You're the worst rushing offense in the league. You cannot crack 24 points in a league game. Like, something's got to change. And you might have thought, hey, okay, new play caller, new thoughts on the offensive line, week off, like this, healthy Aaron Anderson, like they'll find something. And they didn't. So something's got to change. And you've got to make a look at Michael Van Buren. But my opinion doesn't matter. It's Frank Wilson's opinion that matter. And he talked yesterday about how the reps should be divvied up.
You know, I thought Garrett did well enough at times to still be in position to be the starter as we start and embark upon this weekend. So when we go to corrections today and practice tomorrow, he'll be the first guy that goes in.
So he'll be the first guy that goes in. But last week, if you'll remember, Frank Wilson, Garrett is our quarterback. Garrett is our quarterback. We'll do what it takes to win the game. Garrett is our quarterback. And you hear now a little bit less of a commitment. And that makes a lot of sense. So we fully expect that Garrett Nussmeier will be the starting quarterback on Saturday. But how much is Michael Van Buren going to be used? We asked Glenn West in the first hour. He thought about a third of the time. I think that's probably a little bit heavy, but I'd like to see Michael Van Buren play. We'll see if it's series to series, quarter to quarter. If you don't score a touchdown in the first 2 drives, you go to Van Buren for a drive. If that results in 3 points or 7 points, maybe you stick with him, and we'll see what they decide to do. But the door is very much open, obviously, now for Michael Van Buren to step in and get some reps. Just how many, we can't know. Now, Michael Cobble from WBRZ asked Frank Wilson, like, is there a benefit to going to a different quarterback mid-series?
We're not out on anything. Again, I think if you look at body of work and you isolate it, that's good. That was good. We missed that. We got to be able to get that. And they're both imperfect in that sense. They both brought something to the table that helped this team to go up and down the field. They both have things that they need to continue to work on as well. And so I don't think it's just a clear separation where one is beyond the other, that we'll need both of them. And I think I know we'll use both of them in this game.
So that's a more specific answer. We'll use both of them in this game. I think when he says that nobody was clearly the guy, I think that's fair. I also would suggest that clearly with Garrett Nussmeier out there, you're struggling to score. You move the ball at times. You're struggling to score, struggling in the red zone, struggling to run the ball. And then you look at, with Michael Van Buren, like, it wasn't great. It wasn't a symphony offensively in Tuscaloosa. You only scored 3 points, and they were kind of gift-wrapped by Harold Perkins on the strip sack. But you did see some things that you know you're not going to get from Nussmeier. The third down run, the dynamic playmaking ability to extend plays and to get up the field and convert those third downs on your feet. Now, you take a step back throwing the ball. Like I told you yesterday, like, Van Buren was not the most accurate passer on Saturday. But you now are realizing that you don't have a perfect option. And that's what Frank Wilson said. They're both imperfect. You don't have a guy that can run and be accurate throwing it consistently. Garrett Nussmeier can be accurate throwing it. He's not going to run. Michael Van Buren can run. The accuracy, maybe not there. So, yeah, I think that you're going to see both of them, but I would suggest you need to see a significant amount of Van Buren. And then the question was asked, Frank, like, what does that mobile aspect give your offense?
It makes them account for him, and that you have to keep integrity of your rush lanes as a defensive line in pursuit. I think it makes you have another defender account for him if he does get through the first level, if you will, because if not, then it becomes a tremendous gain, a huge gain, opposed to that person being in coverage. And so I think there's tremendous validity into having a guy that can extend plays with his legs, or even have direct quarterback design runs that they have to account for.
Here's what I think. I think entering the Bama game, you gave Garrett the reps. He's the starting quarterback. He's going to be the guy. Van Buren gets some second-team reps. He kind of knows what his role is, but that's the deal. Now you've opened Pandora's box toward the opportunity for Van Buren to play. Like, that Band-Aid got ripped off in the second half. Like, we'll go to him. So now I think the approach in practice this week for this game on Saturday starts to be, okay, we have plans for both quarterbacks to play. Not like we're willing to put one guy in, like it's going to happen. So the game plan now for LSU in practice involves reps for Garrett Nussmeier with the ones and reps for Michael Van Buren with ones. I think that is now a shift in mentality with this offense that's not, if we need to, we can do that. It's, here's how we're entering the game. And to be clear, like, Arkansas hasn't stopped anybody, whether it's a mobile quarterback or whether it's a guy that's slinging it. Arkansas hasn't stopped anybody. It's a defense that is as bad as anybody in the country, certainly as bad as anybody in the SEC. When your offense is in the top 15 nationally in like almost every category and you can't win a league game, you know how compromised that offense, that defense is. It's really bad. You look at their schedule, you look at the quarterbacks they've faced, and none of it is good. Like, they faced Ole Miss with Trinidad Chambliss. They gave up 41. They faced Notre Dame, C.J. Carr, a good athlete, but more of a thrower. They gave up 56. They played Tennessee with Joey Aguilar. He wants to throw the ball. They gave up 34. They played Texas A&M, Marcel Reed. He can run and throw, and gave up 45 points. You played Auburn. You did a pretty good job against Jackson Arnold for a half. Auburn goes to the backup quarterback. You get lit up for a ton of points in the second half and lose 33. And then you play Mississippi State. You face mostly Blake Shapen. He's more of a thrower. You gave up 38 points. So, like, they've faced mobile guys. They've faced pocket passers. They've faced whoever. And everybody has massive success. It would stand to reason that LSU could find some things on offense. But I believe with that in mind, they're going to take a look at both quarterbacks and get both quarterbacks involved early on. I don't think it requires a Garrett Nussmeier failure to get him into the game. Now, you don't have to force it. If Nussmeier leads a 75-yard touchdown drive on the first drive of the game, and then your defense gets a turnover at the 40, and you put Nussmeier back in and he hits a big play for a touchdown, I don't say, hey, all right, get in there, Van Buren. It's your turn. But if things go the way that they've gone, which is LSU not scoring a lot of points early or not scoring a lot of points late, like, mixing Van Buren in doesn't mean he has to be the guy the rest of the game. Like, when they went to Van Buren on Saturday, it was his game. I don't think it has to be that this time around. Could be if Nussmeier plays really poorly, the offense is sputtering, and then Van Buren gets the ball and goes down and gets points. Like, it could be a permanent thing, but you can have a plan to go to both of them in this game and not feel like once you take Garrett out, he can't go back in. Based on the way I saw Garrett handle himself on the sideline after Van Buren went in last week, cheering on his team, staying engaged, fist pumping, signaling catch on the sideline, like, he was into it. Now, he was emotional at the end. Yes, I got it. And I know that some people are going to take that and run with it because you're out on Garrett. But I think that Garrett can handle giving some snaps to Michael Van Buren in this game. I think he can handle giving some snaps to Juwan Johnson in some sort of role doing that as well. At this point, the sample size is so large that nobody can fight back too hard on this. You got to use both quarterbacks. And I think they will on Saturday, and I think they'll prepare that way as opposed to have that as a contingency in the plans for the game. So that's a look at LSU's quarterback situation. If you'd like to, you can read a little bit about that at LouisianaSports.net. We've also got a story up right now about the Brian Kelly lawsuit that was filed last night. That was reported on by ESPN yesterday evening, and that we've got two stories up for free on LouisianaSports.net about right now. It talks about the negotiations, who offered what was turned down. It also details LSU's decision to fire Brian Kelly for cause, suggesting that Scott Woodward didn't have the authority to fire Brian Kelly when he did on that Sunday, October the 26th. So if you want to read more about that, you can find it at LouisianaSports.net. We'll step aside. When we come back, Sharief Ishaq talking Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show. You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Hope y'all's work week is off to a good start. Chilly start to the week. That kind of fades away tomorrow. Highs creeping up around 80 for the next 3 days. That's okay with me. Well, chilly. I had to go with the full beanie, full long sleeves, and hoodie to run this morning. 31 when I left the house. That's not what we're looking for. Just not.
Too cold, man. I hate it.
Not what we're looking for. Tough to get out of bed for the old 31-degree run. But I don't have to do it after work, so we like that. Talk Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans. Gives us time to be the Jim's Firearms Hotline on Tuesday. Sharief, how are you, sir?
Cold, man. I hate this cold weather, man. Give me the 80s.
It's coming tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that. The next 3 days, highs in the 80 degrees. So it's not it felt like fall for a minute there, but we'll get back to warm weather here for the next three. Speaking of hot, Saints got a win in Charlotte. Listen to that tease. Listen to that segue. Look at that team. What'd you see on Sunday?
Hey, look, Hunt, it's the first time all season and actually first time in a very long time that they played complimentary football. I probably think the Cleveland Browns game might have been the last time they did that, and I truly think this is one of the better performances from a quarterback since Drew Brees retired. And I think that Tyler Shuck looks sharp. Shuck got out there and climbed the pocket a few times, made good decisions, didn't really panic, very decisive, and hit the target. And that's exactly what you want to see from a guy you drafted in the second round, and you just hope he can build on that. And I saw a lot of that. I mean, we could talk about a lot of good things when it comes to this game. So, but Shuck is the top priority when we're talking about the Saints moving forward.
What was a play or two that was your favorite in the game?
There was I'm trying to think if it was the second or third quarter. Where there was one time when he climbed the pocket under pressure and hit Chris Olave, not the one-handed catch. But I think it was before the one-handed catch. He climbed and he hit Olave, and I thought he was going to get sacked, but it was a really good job. And even on the first drive, when he evaded the pass rush and hit Juwan Johnson, and Juwan went for like 53 yards, and that was really good. And look, we could talk about the touchdown passes. I love the air yards, the one to Chris Olave, but I think the ones that are best is when he's just playing with two starting offensive linemen. When he's able to get out of the rush. He's able to climb pockets, evade pass rush, and throw the ball on the run. Those are the more impressive throws to me than those two touchdowns because that just shows you that, Kellen Moore and the coaching staff are doing a good job of teaching these quarterbacks how to play under pressure in the pocket and outside the pocket. So that's one very big positive sign when it comes to, Tyler Shuck and the way he played in that game Sunday.
All right, let me play a little bit of devil's advocate here. You're aware that I'm doing so. How much of the complimentary, how much of our complimenting Shuck and suggesting how well he played has to do with the fact that the defense only allowed 7 points and they won? Like, what if they'd have lost 34-17 and he'd have played the exact same game?
I still think I would say he played well. Okay. I mean, then I would have said just let him down. But that's why I said it's a complimentary game, the first one in a very long time. When everyone plays complimentary, it makes everyone look good. Yeah. The defense played its best game. I think I would count the Giants game because of the 5 turnovers. I felt like, at least Carolina came in 5-4. You're talking about Rico Dowdle, who was the best running back since week 5 of the NFL, held him to 52, 53 yards. That one drive where Justin Reed had that roughing the passer call that gave him the touchdown. Other than that, the defense was awesome. I mean, they went after Bryce Young the entire game. They smothered him, and they smothered Rico Dowdle the entire game. So I think the Tyler Shuck thing would have been still the same for me. That is the number one priority, is to see him progress. And they got to win. Just so happens they got to win. Now, people are going to say, well, it's the Panthers. They're not good. Well, that you're just slighting the Saints. If they would have lost, you would have probably said, well, they're terrible. They lost to a bad Carolina team. They won, so you can't be mad about that. You got a double dose of progression from your young players and Shuck, and you got a win. So there you go, team. You got a team win for the Saints.
I've seen a lot of tying wins to Shuck's performance, and ultimately that will be what matters. I struggle with that this year, suggesting that the wins and losses are significant. Now, Ross Jackson, our guy at LouisianaSports.net, he sees it a different way. It's like you need to lead the team to wins. That's your job. And I fully understand that. But I'm more so looking for the process by which you get there. And if, hey, the running game or the defense isn't very good, but Shuck plays okay and you lose, like, that's okay too. Like, where are you on the development of Shuck as opposed to just purely what the wins and losses say while he's the starter?
Everyone's going to look at it differently.
Yeah.
Ross will look at it as leading to wins. I look at where Ross is thinking next year. This year, I'm on the train that you're on of progression and, getting better and developing and making the guys around you play much better, even if you lose. It's so hard because next time he plays, he could have a bad game or a semi-decent game and they lose the game. You're like, oh, okay, so he's back down to earth. You just don't want to see a lot of that moving forward with the final 7 games. You want to see that steady progression. You want to see him continue making those steps and becoming a better quarterback and showing if he can be a franchise quarterback. He's going to have some bad throws. He's going to make some bad decisions. He's going to have turnovers. It's just natural in the game of football, especially for a rookie. Those things are going to happen. But it's, can you overcome them, and can you kind of avoid letting that happen a bunch of times?
Where are you on Chris Olave right now? There's been a lot of mixed emotions about him the last month.
I like what he did in that game. Look, it was the first game back in that stadium for him after getting that nasty concussion last year, which was almost a year ago that it happened, and he played his best game of the season. Probably his best game in quite some time, too. I mean, he was making catches over the middle, making one-handed catches on third down to bail the offense out to get him a first down, the 62-yard touchdown. That is the Chris Olave we need to see. That is the Chris Olave we need to see. That is, if you're going to pay Chris Olave, that's the Chris that he needs to show up every Sunday. Obviously, it's not realistic for him to have, 105 yards a game, but if he has 6 or 7 catches for 75, 80 yards a game and gets a touchdown, that's a good-looking receiver for me. That's a good-looking receiver for the Black and Gold. So I'm up and down with him. I understand the frustration with the fans, and they want him to be the number one, but if you get something like this every week, close to it, I feel fine with it. I mean, they do need a legit number one threat for that offense at some point in time. He needs to have more playmakers to throw to. That would be my answer.
Let's go to roster management. Like, how much of your focus is on the NFL draft right now? Is there any? Is there a significant amount?
Oh, absolutely. They went from 5 picks to 7 picks. If Sharief Ishaq was the GM of the New Orleans Saints, and I ended up with the number 5 or 7, between 5 and 8, I'm going to try to move back this year, Hunt. I'm not really interested in drafting a quarterback this
you sure?
year, even if like it goes to 4 and 13 or 3 and 14. I feel like the schedule is so easy, man. The rest of the way, they're probably going to win 4 or 5 games total for the year. I don't know if I want a quarterback this year. This quarterback class is awful. I mean, I being honest with you, I don't even know how good Fernando Mendoza is going to be. I don't know how good Dante Moore is going to be. And then there's a rest. I mean, I don't know if I want to take that chance this year. I would dangle that carrot in front of the team to come up there and come get one of those guys and let me go ahead and move back in the draft. Let me collect some picks because the team needs players, desperately needs young players, playmakers, skill position players on both sides of the ball after this year. And they need to do that, and they need to hit on a big way. Because if this class hits, because you already have some decent production from Quincy Riley, Jonas Sanker, and Danny Stuckman is starting to play a lot. We'll see what else will happen with Devin Neal and Tyler Shuck. Then it looks good. You hit again next year, and you get more picks. If you move back, like I say, you're setting yourself up for a good little run because they're going to free up a lot of money after next year. So, just saying, that's what I would do.
Are you aware that the general manager of the team said that trading back means you're getting a worse player?
He says that all the time. I disagree with that logic. Look what the Philadelphia Eagles do. I mean, they haven't just been the most successful team in the last 7 or 8 years in the NFL by doing exactly that. And they got the Saints a few years ago in order for them to draft Olave and Penning by giving up their pick and moving back. So I think they did just fine. I think the Saints at some point in time need to think about that and stop moving up and start moving back to collecting picks because this team is going to start losing veteran players. They need to fill the cupboard up with some good young talent in the draft. So this year would be a good way to do it, and next year's draft as well after next season. So and then they free up a lot of money.
Saints coverage, you can find it Hunt on Saints here. Of course, LouisianaSports.net as well. Sharief's with us on Tuesdays. One thought on the Pell. Willie Green going to still be employed when you talk to me next Tuesday?
At this pace, probably not. We've had 4 losses in the last 8 days, about 20-plus points, 32, 34, 21, and 23. The 2 wins were against teams that were decimated by injuries. I feel like their best players were hurt. It's not looking good, Hunt. And the only thing that looks good to me are Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen. And that's, I guess, a good sign.
Trey Murphy had a good game.
Yeah, he had a good game, but I think he would tell you he needs to play much better. He got off to a very slow start, some turnovers, missed layups. He was awesome the other night against the Spurs, tied a career high for 41 points. They fought back in that game. But at some point in time, fighting back or just allowing the team to get run off the court isn't good enough. And if it happens on this homestand way too many times, it's probably going to be James Borrego time.
We shall see. We'll talk Sharief Ishaq next Tuesday about it. Thank you, sir.
Anytime, Hunt. See you next Tuesday.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSE down in New Orleans. Tuesday show is brought to you by Daryl May Remax Partners. Come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com. Get on by and see him. Airline at PQ. You can find America's best warranty. Talking about a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. How about that 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty? It's industry-leading. Enhanced 24/7 roadside assistance. That's 5 years, unlimited miles. Wherever you are, 24/7, they got you covered roadside. And, of course, always tell you about that complimentary 3 years of valet maintenance. Complimentary means complimentary on the house. So if you got to get that oil changed, you got to get that air filter changed, you got to deal with wiper blades, wiper fluid, whatever the case may be, they come to you, they leave you a loaner, take it back to the dealership, handle the maintenance, bring that car right back to you. You never lift a finger. Could not be easier. It's all about convenience. It's all about experience. It's a luxury brand at a reasonable price. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge, and you can find them online, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is always brought to you by Daryl May of Remax Partners, licensed realtor in Louisiana and Mississippi. He's 20 years in the building space, has that realty license as well. So if you're looking for somebody who knows what a good buy might be, knows the area as well as anybody, because he spent an entire lifetime here, Baton Rouge and in St. Francisville, Daryl May of Remax Partners needs to be your first call. Brings you our Tuesday shows each and every week. We certainly do appreciate him. Matt's probably going to catch you up here in about 12 minutes on the goings-on between LSU and Brian Kelly. I spent my first 15 minutes today talking about that. There's a story up, 2 stories actually, up at LouisianaSports.net right now detailing where LSU stands in that entire saga. It's essentially LSU's contention that Scott Woodward did not have the authority to fire Brian Kelly without Board of Supervisors approval. He did not have that the day after the Texas A&M game. Therefore, LSU suggests that that was not the actual day of termination. And now LSU expressed to Brian Kelly and his team yesterday that LSU plans to fire Brian Kelly with cause. Brian Kelly's team not impressed with that. They're filing suit against LSU, and now it's going to be fought out in a courtroom unless 2 sides can come through with a settlement. LSU offered, according to the lawsuit, $25 million, then bumped that offer up to $30 million up front. Kelly countered with $43 million. That's a $13 million difference. We're going to court right now unless they can clear that up. So that's where things stand. There's more information in that piece of LouisianaSports.net, and Matt will certainly talk about it coming up in 10 minutes. So just wanted to reset that here on this Tuesday. It's kind of in the news of the day, both here in Baton Rouge, and then there's been some national buzz with it as well. So go check that out for free at LouisianaSports.net. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Just take
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer. Looking for something light, crisp, refreshing with all those flavors that you're looking for from a delicious beer. Take it from Yingling, the oldest brewery in the country. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer.
All right, let's start it off with, very current event. The Dallas Mavericks have finally fired GM Nico Harrison, oh my God, I can't speak. Whatever. He traded Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the 2029 first-round pick. After a 3-8 start to the season, the Mavs finally pulled the plug on Harrison. Is this the worst trade in NBA history? Take it or leave it.
Take it. I think it is. I mean, that league is absolutely, positively run by superstars.
100%.
You have to. And you had one of the best 5 players?
Maybe 3. Right now, he's averaging 37, 9, and 9.
Yeah, traded him. Got Anthony Davis, who is in the training room a lot.
He's played 15 games out of his, 40-something.
Excellent. Who could have seen that coming? Certainly not anybody here. Yeah, bad deal. Bad deal, bad deal. Poorly done.
Terrible. So next we have Jackson Dart, who has 7 career starts in NFL, but he's been evaluated for concussion 4 times already. Will Dart last in the NFL? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it. I'll bet on the kid. I hope he plays well. I kind of hope that he plays for Lane Kiffin next year, the Giants. If LSU's not going to hire Lane Kiffin, maybe the Giants could hire Lane Kiffin to coach Jackson Dart. That's kind of my next angle on this thing. I got to get Lane Kiffin out of Oxford. Because once Lane Kiffin leaves Oxford, the strong possibility is the next guy's not as good.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
It could get better, but we know what the floor is in Oxford. Yeah. It looks a lot like Matt Luke. It looks a lot like Ed Ogeron. It gets ugly fast in Oxford, and that's what I need. I need that back, especially considering that LSU is playing Ole Miss the next 4 years because LSU and Ole Miss are annual opponents in the new Southeastern Conference 9-game schedule. So I got to get him out. If he's not coming to Baton Rouge, which maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but if he's not coming to Baton Rouge,
get him
Giants.
Out. Get him out. Who's LSU's second opponent? Is it Arkansas?
3 of them. It's Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Ole Miss.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, Travis Hunter unfortunately underwent LCL repair surgery, effectively ending his season this year. But the Jaguars are currently sitting at 5-4, and they're 2-3 in their last 5. But this is the kicker. The Browns own the Jaguars' first-round pick this season from the Travis Hunter trade during the draft. Did the Browns just fleece the Jaguars? Take it or leave it?
I'll leave it. I mean, the Jaguars got a really good player. He just got hurt. So I think the Jaguars will take that. You always want to be a little bit careful trading first-round draft choices. The Pelicans know something about that. But look, they got Hunter. That's a guy they think is going to be dynamic. They had their quarterback, so that's when you really don't want to change.
Do they have a quarterback, though?
I mean, they've got him. They're going to play with him. So it doesn't look great. But, I mean, do you want Trevor Lawrence next year or you want one of these college kids?
I don't know. Depending on what I've been seeing in Duval, they're about ready to run him out of town, man.
That's cranky face. But I think it's fine. Just injuries are something you can't quite forecast unless you're the Cubs and you trade for a pitcher who's lost 4 miles an hour in his fastball and then he has to miss time after the trade deadline. That's not good. But
we're gonna leave it alone though. We're gonna say we're gonna leave it alone.
We're gonna leave that alone.
All right, that's it for take it.
All right, that's it for take it or leave it. We haven't talked about this baseball betting scandal. It's such a bummer. These guys who are on these 7-figure, in some cases 8-figure contracts that are intentionally screwing up in games for thousands of dollars. It just makes no sense to me. I realize that money is money and that people want money, but like when you're Emmanuel Clase and you're one of the best closers in Major League Baseball and you're on a monster contract and all of these pitches you're throwing to essentially fix bets are worth tens of thousands, that's so dumb.
Yes.
And then you look at the prison sentence, it could possibly be like 50 years in prison for throwing balls and fixing. Don't do that. Just don't do that. I understand people that get mixed up in gambling things when you're flat broke.
Yeah.
You watch the movies and you see, when you're a multi-million-dollar Major League Baseball pitcher, one of the best in the sport, and you're fixing pitches for $10,000 bets, that's just dumb. I have no other way to describe that than dumb. And now
egregious
you're
misses, by the way. They're terrible. The little compilation's terrible.
Don't do that. They're going to figure it out. This is the tip of the iceberg. I think people are doing it all across sports.
Let's go get ugly.
You better stop, because if you get caught, promise it's not worth it. There's not enough money in these bets. Nobody's betting $50 million on it. Don't do that. That's it for today's show. Catch it on demand if you missed it. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. See you tomorrow for a Wednesday edition of The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.